everyone. So for this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how the mob helped establish New York City's gay bar scene. And disclaimer, this channel does not promote any type of crime, including organized crime. However, I am a firm believer in giving credit wherever credit is due. And so even though, there's different views on the mob in general, they have actually done a lot of good things as well. And I am not saying that their good outweighs their bad, but credit being given, they did actually stand up for gay rights and pretty much back the LGBTQIA plus community in a few various different ways. So, as an unlikely partnership between New York's LGBTQ plus community in the 1960s being forced to live on the outskirts of society and the mafia's disregard for the law, the two together made a profitable match. As the gay community blossomed in New York City in the 1960s, members had few places to gather publicly. Shunned and criminalized by the broader culture, LGBTQIA plus people were eager for any spot where they could safely come together. Going to a bar could be a dangerous proposition. At the time, it was still illegal to serve gay patrons alcohol, to display homosexuality in public, or for two gay people to dance together. Under the guise of New York State's liquor laws that barred disorderly premises, the State Liquor Authority and the New York Police Department regularly raided bars that catered to gay patrons. Where the law saw deviance, the mafia saw a golden business opportunity. Since the days of Prohibition, when alcohol was outlawed, the mob controlled much of New York City's nightclubs and businesses, with special expertise in its shadowy illegal fringes. The Genovese family, one of the so-called five families that dominated organized crime in New York City, reigned over Manhattan's West Side bar scene, including the Village where the LGBTQ plus community was taking root. A member of the Genovese family, Tony Loria, aka Fat Tony, purchased the Stonewall Inn in 1966 and transformed it from a bar and restaurant that attracted straight clientele into a gay bar and nightclub. Run on the cheap, Stonewall was known for being both dirty and dangerous. It operated without running water behind the bar. Glasses were cleaned by being dunked in tubs of dirty water, and toilets regularly overflowed. The club also lacked a fire or emergency exit. Despite the less than ideal conditions, Stonewall quickly became a popular destination in the gay community, even something of an institution. It was the only place where gay people could openly dance together, and for relatively little money, drag queens were who received a better reception at other bars, runways, homeless LGBTQ youth, and others could be off the streets as long as the bar was open. To operate its gay bars, the mafia greased the palms of the NYPD. Fat Tony, for one, paid New York's 6th Precinct approximately $1,200 a week in exchange for the police agreeing to turn a blind eye to the indecent conduct occurring behind closed doors. Not that the police didn't still raid the LGBTQIA plus establishments, but first they would tip off the owners who told them the best time to come by. Raids often occurred in the early afternoon when few customers were present, so business had enough time to resume normal operations by night. Author David Carter wrote a book, Stonewall: The Riots That Sparked the Gay Revolution, that explained this further. During a typical raid, bar owners would change the lights from blue to white, warning customers to stop dancing and drinking. Patrons were lined up and required to show identification. If they didn't have any, they could be arrested. Men were hauled in for dressing in drag, and women for wearing less than 3 pieces of traditional feminine clothing. Sometimes the cops even went to the extreme measure of sending female officers into the bathroom to verify people's genders. To get around laws that prohibited serving alcohol to LGBTQ patrons, many gay bars, including the Stonewall, operated ostensibly as bottle bars. Private clubs where members would bring their own alcohol. Patrons, on entering, were asked to sign into a membership book, but most people entered fake names. In reality, the mob provided the liquor, leaving most bottles outside in cars or hidden closets where they could be easily stashed during raids. The mob designed the operation to maximize profits from the cheap, watered-down alcohol sold at high markups to the jukebox and bootleg cigarettes. In addition, the mob also plied the gay flesh trade with bouncers, pimping out patrons. But while the NYPD attempted to crack down on mafia-run prostitution in the mid-1970s during something known as Operation Together, the effort was eventually shut down in 1977. Apparently, too many high-powered individuals, including mafia members, police officers, and big Hollywood names, were implicated clients. Some scholars have argued the infamous Stonewall riots that sparked the nationwide LGBTQ movement were as much a resistance against the mob's exploitation of the gay community as they were a struggle against police harassment and discriminatory laws. Indeed, a handwritten message and talk on the boarded-up window of the Stonewall Inn after the 1969 riots read, "Gay prohibition, corrupt cops, $, feed, $, mafia." Two of the main gay rights organizations that came out of the riots, the Gay Activist Alliance and the Gay Liberation Front, actively championed getting organized crime out of gay bars. The mafia's stranglehold on New York City's nightlife businesses took a huge hit with a series of high-profile prosecutions in the 1980s. But while the LGBTQ community had found it less than ideal colluding with crime lords in some ways, the mob provided them with the much-needed have at a time when the rest of the country was still hostile and very unwelcoming.